But here's my question for you before I get out of here. Why isn't Kyle Shanahan planning for the future? From from a head coaching perspective, he is, but from his offense, he made no effort to develop anyone young last year. Wasn't that weird? Isn't that weird? He had every opportunity to. The defense was playing young players. I mean, Michael Williams played all kind of snaps when he wasn't really making much of an impact. Was he better than the guys that he was in front of? Maybe, maybe not, but it was close enough that you definitely want him out there because he's the first round pick and he needs to develop and he's got to be a integral part of your future. So if it's between him and freaking Sam Okwanu, I'm going with him, obviously, duh. And that's how they did it pretty much across the board. Like, was Upton Stout better than Chase Lucas? I don't know. I don't know. But by the end of the year, yeah. So it was worth it. Kyle didn't do any of that. Hey, Christian is a great player, but he's not really part of our future, and we're building for the future. So I want to see what I got in Jordan James. Isaac Arendo was kind of intriguing last year, and he wasn't the most consistent running back, but he had some big plays, and I want to see what he could do in year two. Nope, you didn't give him either of them a single freaking touch during the regular season. Then you had like a freaking essay about why you didn't play Jordan Watkins. Methinks thou dost protest too much on that one. He could have played Jordan Watkins. He had a million reasons why every 30-year-old off the street was better than Jordan Watkins. Connor Colby was the only guy who played. They played him because they had no choice. It was down to him or Nick Zakel. I think Spencer Burford was hurt or something. So the question again is, why isn't Kyle Shanahan planning for the future? It seemed like the last big move he made for the future was drafting Ricky Pearsall. That felt like a Kyle Shanahan move, and it was like, let's trade. Let's move on from Debo. Let's give a lot of money to Brandon Ayuk, and let's invest in Ricky Pearsall. That's the future. That was his vision. Brock, Ayuk, Ricky. Well, Ayuk goes down as one of the worst extensions in NFL history, and he's responsible for that. And Ricky Pearsall hasn't lived up to the first round pick yet. So I wonder what's going on with him. Is he fighting for an extension? Does he still want to be here? Does he look at these last 2 years on his contract as like, hey, I might not be here in 2028. So what's the point of me overhauling my offense and getting rid of guys like Kittle and Juszczyk and Trent Williams and McCaffrey if I'm just building an offense for the next coach? I'm building a team for like, why don't I just ride these older players till the wheels fall off, and then if they don't give me an extension, I'll just go somewhere else. Leave the Niners with a bunch of old players. See how they like that. I just felt like if Kyle Shanahan had an extension right now, or last year, he might have been a little bit seemed like he was coaching like he had to get every single win. He had to get in the playoffs. He had to win a playoff game. And he thought he had to play Kendrick Bourne and Demarcus Robinson to achieve that. Brian Robinson, guys with no freaking future here. Doesn't that seem he was acting more like a coach who was on the hot seat than a coach who's going to be here for another 10 years? He was acting like a coach who was going to suffer serious consequences if he missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. So we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's possible that the Brandon Ayuk mistake cost Kyle Shanahan dearly. It's possible it cost him power. It's possible that he's not really the one picking players anymore, which is why he didn't play Jordan Watkins and Jordan James. He didn't want him. Someone else picked him. That's why they picked all those defensive players. That's why he's going to Saudi Arabia right before the draft. Like, don't ask me. I'm not allowed to pick the players anymore. You don't trust me. You don't like my judgment. I don't know. That's where my mind goes. These are all the things I wonder. Unless all of a sudden, if he brings back Debo Samuel, that tells me he's not going to be here in 2 years. He's just going out his way. We'll see what happens. AK Roll got you. AK Roll says maybe BA is such an idiot because of all the EMF exposure. He should sue York. Nick H says, who will Kyle take first, the wide receiver or running back he won't play? That's a good question. On the one hand, it's a run first team. So you could figure they're going to take the running back and then never play him. But Kyle Shanahan was a wide receiver. So that kind of makes you feel like he'll take the wide receiver and then decide he's terrible and that, he just doesn't live up to Kyle's standards. It could go either way. Last year, they went wide receiver first, took Jordan Watkins, buried him, and then drafted Jordan James, buried him. So maybe this year they switch it up, go running back first, and then decide, oh, nope, he's the next tight end of his price. This could be the year the Niners take a running back in round 3. Although that became such a punchline, I often wonder if that's against the law or the rules or both in Santa Clara County, municipality. Joseph Ehrenberg says, why are the Niners a disgusting loser-ass franchise? These are important questions. Joseph Ehrenberg is not afraid to ask the important questions. Doesn't mean he's right. But that's one thing that someone's asking. And also people are wondering what's up with Aaron Rodgers and the 49ers. What's going on there? A lot of people have been asking that. And of course, nothing yet at this time. AK Roll 65 says, did you see Bourne's post about asking for a grade on the season? The comments were interesting. A+ with Mac, F with Brock. Low key, Bourne was the best receiver this whole season, only with Mac. Resign. I thought that when Mac Jones was playing, a big reason that Mac was good is because he threw the ball to Kendrick Bourne a lot. And I feel like Kendrick dropped one of his passes, but Mac wouldn't shy away from him, and he would throw it to him like 10 times a game. He was like a volume number 1 target. It worked. What was cool about Kendrick Bourne is it seemed like he could get open fast. He wasn't fast, but he had enough strength and quickness to win on a slant. Who else could you say that about on the Niners? Does Jawan Jennings moves so slowly. He runs those like 8-yard flat routes. But who runs the quick explosive slant and gets open? It was him. And Mac was the one who would hit him because he wasn't trying to hold the ball for 8 seconds. We can't talk about that. AK Roll says if Jawan Jennings went to the Morgan Wallen concert, then they'd resign him. Well, why you think he dyed his hair red? He was trying to fit into the culture. How do you know he didn't go to the Morgan Wallen concert? He's from Tennessee. He might be a big country music fan. Probably isn't. AK Roll says Nick Sakel has a job only because he lived with Brock. These are facts. All day, every day, Kim says Kyle's taking a kicker in the first. Probably. Nick H says Jordan Mason would be nice to have still. Why? Why would Jordan Mason be nice to have, Nick? So Kyle Shanahan could not play him? Because that's what he would do. I feel glad that Jordan Mason isn't here anymore. Kyle can't hurt him anymore. He's free. He made it. Like, at the end of Shawshank Redemption where he's just standing in the rain and the camera's above him and he's got his hands up, face in the rain. That's Jordan Mason. He's standing in like the 10-degree snow in Minnesota saying, thank you, God, for delivering me to this spot. Thank you. My favorite was when Trent Williams said that Jordan Mason reminded him of Marshawn Lynch. And he was sitting right there. His locker was real close to Trent Williams. And I went over to Jordan Mason. I was like, hey, did you hear that Trent just compared you to Marshawn Lynch? And he was like, I don't know who that is. Wow. Football players are so smart. They have to know all like the concepts and the plays and the coverages and the fronts and all those different little things. But sometimes they just don't know the history. And it's not like I was asking him about Roger Craig. I was asking about Marshawn Lynch. He was in the league like, 5 years ago? He's like, I don't know who that is. He's like, I don't really watch football like that. Oh. Hey, well, never mind. The Jordan Mason's experience. Good times. Keeping the Faith says, why talk Niners? Real subs want YouTube play button talk. Yeah.